What's up, everybody? We are back for RLCS Season 8, and these are my favorite videos. We get to talk about formats and dates of when everything is coming. So we're going to go through everything here, all the changes that have happened for Season 8. Not a lot of changes on the RLCS side of things, but a lot of changes for the Rival Series. So first, let's go over the dates. We'll scroll down here a bit. So this is RocketLeagueEsports.com/rules. I think that's the link. I'll have the link in the description below so you guys can check this out yourself. I'm not going to go over every little piece of information here, but first, let's go over the dates. So we know the dates, the qualifiers, you can sign up now. I'll put the link in the description as well. A couple notes. Play-ins will not be broadcasted. That's what it said in the article. So play-ins are not broadcasted as like a studio show. But instead, we're going to have an extra week of Rival Series playoffs. So just keep that in mind. But still, there's still a play-in like the normal play-in that we always have where there's 4 qualifiers, as you can see them right here. So this is for North America, but it's the following date for Europe. August 31st, September 14th, September 17th. That's that one midweek one, and September 21st. We take a week off in between the 31st and 14th because of DreamHack. DreamHack is that weekend. And all you got to do is finish top 32 in one of these qualifiers. You can sign up for 2 of them, and you will be into the top 128 to play in for the Rival Series play-in, which will be September 28th and 29th for Europe and NA. Well, NA and then Europe. And then now the big thing is Rival Series has 10 teams. So say every team comes back. We'll see if that happens. I know probably some teams have disbanded, yada, yada. But say every team comes back. There'd be 6 open spots this play-in for NA, 6 open spots for Europe, and possibly more to keep in mind. So pretty good chance to make it. After this season, though, it drops down to only 4 spots, which we'll get into in a little bit. But we're moving to 10 teams for the Rival Series. So that'll be the same old round robin and all that. But we'll get into that in a bit. First, let's continue with our dates. RLCS League play, that begins October, the latest we've ever started a season, October 5th. And then Rival Series, they start the week later. I believe they're still only showing 5 weeks. Yeah, they're still only showing 5 weeks of Rival Series League play. So there's going to be a lot of off-stream games. We'll see how they handle that. We don't know for sure how that's all going to play out. But there's a lot more games, obviously, because now there is 10 teams. Before, when there was 8 teams, that'd be, 28 games? If I'm doing my math correctly. Yeah, and now with 10 teams, that balloons up to 45 games. That's a ton of games. That's like double the season. So, almost double the season. So, Rival Series, you're going to have a lot fewer games on like the normal studio show, but who knows if they're going to broadcast every single matchup because it might be a little bit tough. But these are your dates. You can read them right here. I could zoom in, I guess, but then you guys, let's zoom in and I'll scroll. Well, I'll just scroll and you can see it a little bit better. But RLCS, October 5th, 12th, 19th, 26th, and of course, following day for Europe. And the 2nd, so 5 weeks in a row. Then there's a week off, and then regional championship. So a week off between week 5 and regional championship. This is the first time we've had this since, I don't know, like season 3 or somewhere around there. We had a week off, I believe, between league play and regionals. I can't remember how far back it went, but for the past few seasons, we haven't had this. And then a week off again. And then it's promotion tournament for the normal RLCS schedule. Now, it changes a little bit for the Rival Series, where Rival Series, they start a week later, so everything's a week later for their weeks. And then they actually have a playoffs now, where the top 4 teams go to playoffs. They play a page playoff system, which means 1 versus 2 for a spot in, 3 versus 4 plays the winner or the loser of 1 versus 2 to get the other spot. I have a document or a picture for you in a little bit. I'm just going over the dates here real quick. So these are your dates. So there you go. So it all ends by November 30th before the World Championship, which I will go to right now. We have World Championship dates. They're in the rules. Who knows if it changes? For now, at least, they are December 13th through 15th. So if you're trying to plan time off, maybe, start throwing in a little bit here or there. We don't know where it is yet, but at least you know the dates for now. Again, anything could change, as we can see. Rescheduling, Psyonix may change any schedule they want, So who knows? But very likely, it looks like it'll be December 13th through 15th. I believe this is the latest World Championship we've had. I think Season 2 was the other latest one that was in December, but I believe it was early December. So This should be fun. Friday the 13th should be an interesting day for some of the teams that make the World Championship. But yeah, let's go back real quick to the rival series and what their new format entails. So now there's 10 teams, obviously. They're still doing round robin. And now top 6 will stay alive. So in the rival series, top 6 stay alive. The bottom 4 are out, which also means that 2 of those teams are just in limbo because only the top 4 go into playoffs. So if you make top 6, it's great and all. But if you're in 5 or 6, you don't have a chance at the RLCS for this season. Then you go into the top 4. And this was done by base, I believe. I believe it was base. Let me see. Real quick, I'll just check. So this is a simple way of looking at the playoff system for the promotion tournament and stuff. Let's see. Yeah, it's done by base. So now there's a page playoff. It's very similar to what we do now for the regional championship, where usually over here would be like the 3 versus 4 seed to see who moves on to face the 1 and 2, and there just wouldn't be a lower bracket. So basically, this whole top part's the same as the regional championship of last season. So if you remember how that goes, that's basically how it works. But basically, the rival series, your top 2 teams have 2 chances to make it to the promotion playoff. One of them is guaranteed. Whoever wins this will play the 8th seed from the RLCS in the promotion playoff. And then the 3-4 seeds basically have to win 2 games in a row to make it to the promotion playoff. So a little bit of a bonus for the top 2. My only qualm with this is I wished they would have switched maybe the 8th seed and the 1 seed. Like, I would have liked to see a bonus, bigger bonus for the rival series number 1, because historically, rival series teams are better than the RLCS teams when it comes to promotion. And obviously, like, I don't want to give it to both of them, number 1 and 2, make it automatically to the promotion playoff. But a split would have probably been nice, where the number 1 seed from rival series, they get that weekend off and they get that extra bye. And that would have been something to play for. Instead, they're like, as long as you're top 2 seed, it really doesn't matter. Also, in the RLCS, it would have mattered playing for 7th and 8th. Now it's just like, like if you're 7th or 8th, sure, you might have a tougher opponent in your first round, but it's double elim, so really it doesn't matter all that much. So that's the only thing I would have changed, maybe, is having the 1 seed from rival series go directly into the promotion playoff, and the 8th seed having to earn their way there. They would still get the bye or the 2 chances in this page playoff, but I would have preferred that. That does confuse things a little bit, where it's like, this is called the rival series playoff, and obviously these are 2 separate things. So for terminology and simplicity, this makes sense. I just think for fairness overall, it probably would have made more sense to have the 8 and 1, but it's not a huge deal. It's just a small qualm I have. But this would be cool to see a rival series playoff. And that's done on its own separate weekend. And these are all best of 7. So it's kind of weird, because that's going to be our shortest streams ever. We've never had a stream where we only have 3 best of 7s. But for the rival series playoffs, those 2 days, Saturday and Sunday, it's just 3 games. That's it. 3 best of 7s to see who makes it to the promotion playoff. So I was surprised that they were actually on 2 separate days. Like, I thought they might just sandwich them both together, have Europe in the morning, then follow with NA, just have 6 best of 7s. But hey, that sounds pretty cool. So that should be a lot of fun to watch. And then, of course, our promotion playoff is exactly the same way. Top 2 teams make it to the RLCS. Going back, oops, I'm on the wrong thing. Going back to everything else that happened. Again, we talked about the World Championship dates. The money, they said, is just $1 million plus. So probably similar prize pool, unless they announce something bigger for this season. But rival series play-ins are exactly the same. League play is exactly the same, except obviously 2 more teams. And then the playoffs, which should be a lot of fun to watch. Then RLCS is exactly the same. Just top 8 teams, whoever's in there is in there. And they just play top 6, make playoffs, page playoff system. It's exactly the same as we did last season, so nothing changed there. Trying to think what else there was. Tiebreakers are the same. I love some of the wording's a little bit weird on like game differential in games between tied teams. Like, this is supposed to be head-to-head followed by this one. But that'll be changed. That's fine. It's the same tiebreakers, so you don't have to worry about that. And then World Championship, there's no official format or anything yet for that. They don't have that in here. So who knows? Maybe it changes, maybe it doesn't. Who knows? But it is a 3-day event again. That seems to be guaranteed based on the dates that they announced. So you would expect a very similar format, but who knows what's going on there. But that's about it, basically. RLCS Season 8 is coming. It's really cool to see the rival series teams having 2 extra spots. We'll see if that eventually makes its way over to the RLCS. My one thing with the RLCS, for that to happen, I feel like it would have to be announced a season prior just to figure out how that promotion system works, right? Because I wouldn't want it to be like, oh, all 8 teams for the RLCS are just automatically back next season, and we take the 2 best from the rival series, just because we've seen it before that historically RLCS teams that finish at the bottom are worse than the rival series team. So I would still like to see like maybe a 6-man playoff for the top 4 spots or something like that to figure out who goes up there. But I would assume that if we ever expanded to 10 in the RLCS, that it would have to be announced the season prior, because that changes all of the promotion tournament. Now, they could just change that. We changed it last season with the Page playoff in the middle of the season, so it's possible that they might just be hiding it for a little bit and then change it later. But, unlikely, I guess. So it seems like all this is pretty set in stone. But, I'm only gauging that by the rule set that is in the public. I don't have any private information, so don't worry about that. But yeah, that's about it. Here we go. We have our regional championship prize pools, pretty much the same, I believe, as last time. And then the OC and South America stuff, those formats could change. Those schedules could change. It all depends on the guys running those two. So, just check out things from Throwdown and from Rocket Street, I believe it is, for Sam, to see what is going on for their formats. It's not announced yet, so we'll see. Then you have the same old League Play MVP, Golden Striker, Savior of the Season, and Clutch Playmaker. But one thing I always thought that was kind of odd with this stuff was that because there was a lot less money in Sam and OC, I was surprised that their MVPs are worth the same amount. And also they're like playmakers and stuff, because like MVP by itself in Sam I think made the same amount of money as if you came in first place, or roughly about that. So I always thought that was a little bit weird, but like I thought they were like cutting it in half for OC in South America. But hey, it's all good. Just more prize money going around for those guys. We'll take it. It just seems like it's a bad ratio. I would rather see that money split up a little bit more into their prize pools. But again, it's not a lot, right? It's only like $12.50, so it wouldn't matter too much. Rival Series prize pools you see here. Now we got 1st through 10th place, so every place matters. So you get $1,000 extra for every single place, and then first place gets 3 extra K. So there is a little bit of prize money incentive to finish in first, but overall, to make it to the RLCS, it's the same. That they just get a $3,000 extra, and that's about it. Everything else exactly the same to my knowledge. If I missed something, let me know in the comments below. But yeah, big changes are the Rival Series, and that we have World Championship dates already, December 13th through the 15th. Again, who knows? Maybe that changes, but it doesn't seem likely. If it's in their rules, normally they just hide that and say, hey, it'll be announced at a later date. So you would expect that to be correct. But again, Silence always can change the schedule however they want. But that'll do it for me. We got new formats, sort of. We got a little bit of new formats. We get a little pretty picture with a squiggly, which just basically means 2 different show days. This is 1 week. This is the other week for the Rival Series. So instead of showing play-ins, we're showing the Rival Series play-off instead in studio. So we'll see what they do for play-ins. I assume it'll be community stream driven, hopefully, because I think a lot of people will want to watch that. So we'll see how that all works out, but I don't know the details there. But that'll do it for me. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you in Season 8.